There's no such thing as sight reading. And if you learn to spell scales and chords and recognize them the way you would recognize words in a book, then when you're reading music, you don't have to read the notes. Or more specifically, you don't have to read the pitches. We tend to associate the word note with the pitches. But remember, the word note is a synonym, a shorthand for the word notation, that's what the thing looks like when it's written down. And the notation does not just indicate the pitches. It also indicates the note value and the rhythm. Now, the rhythm, that's the part of the notation that we should be reading when we're reading music. Most of my students, when they come to me, they believe reading music means reading the individual pitches. The pitches are predictable. The pitches, what we call notes, the pitches are always in context of a scale or a chord. And that scale or a chord, just like a word in a book, has a concrete and predictable spelling and a concrete and predictable sound. And so if we learn to recognize scales and chords by sight, by spelling, by sound, then they become recognizable the same as words in a book. And then if we learn a bit about functional harmony, the order they're going to appear becomes also roughly predictable, the same way that grammar rules sort of determine the order that words are going to appear in a sentence. And so the spelling and the tuning portion of reading the notes, the pitches, become predictable. And then your focus shifts to the rhythms. And that's all we're doing. We're learning the spelling and the sound of the scales and chords in advance, the same way we'd learn to recognize words in a book, so we don't have to worry about that. Right? And then we're shifting our focus to the rhythmic portion of the notation. And so when we're reading music, the rhythm is the new part. Now, when reading music, if your focus becomes the rhythmic portion of the notation instead of the pitch, then very, very quickly you start recognizing most of the rhythms on sight the same way you recognize the scales and chords on sight. And reading music becomes a very, very quick and easy process. This is when reading becomes a wonderful tool for learning music and studying music more quickly. My name's Mark Dooley. I've been a private music teacher for 36 years, focused on practical theory and music literacy. If you'd like to hear more, follow me. If you like lessons, contact me. If you can learn how to read words, you can learn how to read music.